Online.
Live.
Let's fucking go.
First live stream since WrestleMania.
Yeah. I mean, technically yes, because WrestleMania happened this weekend.
Oh, para
Exactly.
kala mo naman nag-break tayo ng matagal. Jeez, Emil. Fuck is wrong with you?
I didn't say we took a break. I just said
Oh,
it's our
kasi
first
nga,
stream
I mean,
since
obviously,
Mania.
because WrestleMania was a few days ago.
Semantics,
Father
man.
Bruce. Father Bruce, who I
Bruce,
met
Dr.
again
G.
for the first time. Dr. G.
Glendale. Nice seeing you, Bruce, at the viewing party this weekend. Glendale, what's up? Sabi ni Glendale, meron pa siyang WrestleMania hangover till now.
Damn, you should drink some water, man. Hello, Neil.
Neil, hello. What's
What
up?
up? Buti na lang, ano. AEW is the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, God.
In the
Oh,
not so best way.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
know, in the way that we have something to talk about other than yung rather yung pabuo uli na momentum ng WWE after WrestleMania.
Oh, man. But it's been a while since we talked about something about AEW in a not so
Yeah,
good
I guess.
light.
Yeah, that's true. That's also true.
Yeah.
Although, you know, we would wish na hindi siya ganun kadalas, but here we are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adore, what up?
Adore, what's up?
MWF on Sunday. Yeah. Actually have to be reminded na may MWF on Sunday.
Oh, baka mamaya di ka sumipot.
Oh my, baka hindi ako sumipot.
Mac,
actually-
what's up?
It's actually a legit fear. What up, Mac? My brother Mac, who brought his very nonchalant pamangkin sa ating viewing party.
So siya yung ano natin, siya yung equivalent natin ni Nephew Noah.
No, si Nephew Noah had a moment with Drew, diba? Yeah, he liked
Okay.
Drew.
Sure.
Si yung nephew ni Mac, parang NR siya.
Wala talaga.
Yeah. I was kind of watching him throughout the show. He was there sitting there. Yung you don't know this because you don't go to the viewing parties anymore. But there's another kid
Yeah.
kasi. There's another dad and son who first started going last month. Nung Elimination Chamber.
Aha.
And then they said it was the first time, and then they went again this month. Tapos sobrang di siya nonchalant. So that's what we like to see. Yes, Bruce, we are actually going head to head. It is what it is. They tried to avoid it, to be fair. They tried to avoid it, pero walang choice kasi si Power Mac.
Hmm. Ganun talaga.
Yeah. And nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted to go head to head. Kasi syempre, you risk splitting the audience base.
I mean, I'm sure some people wanted it. But
No. I'm sure nobody wanted it. Kasi, syempre, alam mo yun, when there are two shows happening at the same time, the audience base will naturally be split. And you don't want that as someone who maximizes yung profits, diba?
Yeah.
Reddit Regal, what's up? He's watching on YouTube.
Don't worry, Mac. Last year, Mikey's son was the same way. He was watching YouTube on his phone, on her tablet pala.
Tablet, yeah.
Oh, derv siya yun. Medyo sketchy yung description mo.
I think I also
Why you say
know
that?
who the father.
Yeah,
son that
yun yung spot nila kasi. Like, nung chamber yun yung spot nila. Tapos nung mania, yun yung spot nila.
All right, 10 seconds. Let's go.
All right.
Who's ready for story time? what's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Let me talk to him.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb. I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Run!
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the Czar, the NXT champion, and you're listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening...
And you are listening...
And you're listening
to the Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
To the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
You are watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stancy, Romoran, Emil Nate all checking in on another regular Thursday live stream. It is our post-WrestleMania live stream. How's it going, everybody?
Yeah. Finally got through it. Thank you to everyone who went to the viewing parties, whether it was in Skinny Mike's and or Hobby Stadium, and either one or both days. Thank you so much. I think I'm coming down with the sickness, like disturbed, but hopefully not.
Oh no!
But the money we made was worth it. I will say.
Emil, ilang pares ba ng Sabrina or book one yung mabibili mo?
I think a couple.
Couple lang? No. Emil kasi split the proceeds with his father, like a good son.
Yeah, so,
But if he did not, he would probably say more than a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, but probably next week for my birthday, I will likely purchase a shoe. So just watch out for that. So again, thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone who attended the viewing party. I know y'all made the WrestleMania viewing experience so much fun for me, even though nasa labas ako most of the time. But still, it's fine. It's my job. But again, thank you to everyone. And man, what a weekend that was.
One of these days, we'll find a way to finally get you in the house. But till then, we cannot. But thank you to everyone who came by. We apologize for the technical issues. Talagang it's out of our control. We tried a different way in the second day, but it still happened. I think alam mo yun, third world internet just is the issue here. Third world rights here. But to those who still had a great time, and marami naman, despite the internet issues, despite the app issues, we really thank you for your energy. And then, syempre, di rin may iwasan na an event this big may not be 100% perfect operation execution-wise. So for those who did not get the best experience, we apologize for also learning and improving. Hindi kami professional event organizers dito eh. So we're every event is a learning experience. Ika nga ng ating mga favorite NBA players. So
hindi lang yun. Isipin nyo na lang guys, after a little over 8 months, nasa Netflix na yung WWE Premium Live event. So here's the hoping it'll be much better by then. Right? Congrats to Ro, by the way, for getting glasses. Welcome to the club.
God, getting old.
Another sign of aging.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay. Well, at least 2/3 of us here on the podcast have glasses and look smart. Speaking of looking smart, we want you to look smart because we've got quiz night happening as we celebrate our 10th anniversary on the Wrestling Podcast. So yan ang ating pasabog, ang ating pa-event on 4/20. April 20, it's happening on a Saturday. Gaganapin to sa Hobby Stadium. Doors open at 7 p.m. and tickets will be at 500 pesos per person. You can play as an individual. You can play in a tag team or in a trio. Pwede rin kayong faction. However you want to play quiz night, pwede yan. And marami tayong giveaways. Among them, you've got the prizes you see right there on your screen.
Joke yan. Hindi ano yan.
Hindi sample items yan.
Yeah, these are some of the legit items that we got from WWE Shop a few pasabays ago. So hindi basta-basta random stuff yan nandyan.
So we actually have a CM Punk t-shirt. It's at Rose House.
Yeah, I can get it right now.
The Rhea Ripley summer towel, as in pang beach towel talaga siya nasa bahay ko. Along with that, Cody Rhodes weight belt. There's a John Cena bimpo as well and an LWO armband. Our friends from Everybody's Toys and Collectibles have also pledged a Roman Reigns action figure and a Jey Uso Yeet t-shirt. Tapos may papremyo rin tayo from Hobby Stadium. So, ang dami nating ipapamigay for quiz night. So we will see you there April 20, 7 p.m. sa Hobby Stadium. 500 pesos. Yung ticket nyo meron ng kasamang chicken skin from Hobby Stadium. So may
really good.
pangpulutan na kayo. Right?
Yeah.
So we will see you then. Another announcement that we've got since we have your attention on the live stream is we're ready to open another pasabay batch that is happening next week. Ang dami sa inyo nagsasabi na, please, take our money. Pasabay na. Now na. Eto na. Narinig na namin kayo. Pinatapos na namin WrestleMania. Alright?
Yeah, it's easy for you to say kasi kami yung magbabayad muna tapos kayo yung magbabayad after. So, yeah, we have heard the call. Quite a few people have come to us. May nag-message pa nga nung weekend kailan daw. But ito na. Just in time for the next event. I'm sure it's probably SummerSlam. Some people have already laid down their plans for SummerSlam. So thank you for that and thank you for this. So we'll open that next week on Monday. So tell your friends. Baka mag-ano sila. Baka may nilalagnat sila kasi di pa sila gumagastos.
So if you're a patron, of course, you get preferential rates as part of the many benefits of being a patron, along with these other ones, courtesy of Emil.
All right, so it's been a while since I did this plug. So if you want to support the pod and experience the Wrestling podcast on the whole, all you got to do is subscribe to our Patreon. It's at patreon.com/Wrestling podcast right there below. Thank you, Jasper. The link right there. Like Stan said, you get preferential rates on the pasabays and also for the anniversary event. Like if you saw the poster earlier, if you're a patron, you're may discount ka. So you'll get those preferential treatments as well. Sa event. And then so you also get to join in on our Discord where we talk almost every day, talk about things, reflect on some stuff, share tips, whatever. So
where we've built a parasocial relationship with all of you.
Exactly. So it's a fun Discord, guys. It's a fun Discord. You got the review content of the weekly wrestling shows, courtesy of almost all of us. All of us write some sort of reviews now at this point, so you get to enjoy that. And again, by subscribing to our Patreon, you're supporting everything that we do here. As again, our podcast enters year 10. So again, it's at patreon.com/Wrestling podcast for as low as $5.
May sasabihin pala ako about the event, about quiz night. So, sa quiz night, nung huling quiz night, doon na namin nakilala si Mac. So, Mac came to that quiz night by himself. Alone. Didn't answer a single question right. I'm sorry. But he ended up being a wonderful member of our community. So, baka dito mahanap yung tribe mo, if you will.
So we're looking forward to seeing there for quiz night. Okay, last plug before we get to actual wrestling talk. Happy row noises for Blast TV.
Blast TV! All right, so I've managed to convert a few people over the past week. One is Lance, who finally paid money for something WWE related since a while back. Tapos another is someone from the Geek Talk PH group chat. So legit to, guys, kasi ito na nga, you're wondering where do you begin in the Triple H era? Where do you start watching? How do you watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT live in real time? Lalo na nung holiday nung Tuesday, diba? So ito sa Blast TV, guys, because it's free for Converge and Globe at Home subscribers. If you have the internet, libre lang siya. Everyone else, it's 179 pesos. Super mura yan. And that is, a small price to pay to be updated in the Triple H era, if you will. So, guys, Blast TV, WWE, before they take it away with Netflix, mas mahal for sure. So, you don't want this to leave. You don't want this to go away. So, prove to them that we are watching WWE on their platform. Guys, go check it out. app.blasttv.ph. Mama Rose.
All right. Okay, let's start off with some bad news na bumati sa atin pagising natin kanina umaga. We found out that Akebono or Akebono Taro, the great sumo champion, also the wrestler who faced the Big Show no WrestleMania 21, he has passed away at the age of 54. So, yung nangyari daw is heart failure while receiving care at a hospital in the Tokyo area. Yun yung sinabi yung statement ng kanyang family. We don't know the exact date of death kasi wala masyadong details and marami pang inasikaso yung widow niya before publicly announcing yung pagkamatay ni Akebono. So,
Yeah, Meltzer just announced earlier today.
So yeah, medyo biglaan. Well, all deaths naman, or most deaths are biglaan. So, really sad that another member of the wrestling community has passed away. 54, still pretty young, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't easy being 6'8" and like almost 500 pounds at the peak of his powers. But for those of you who weren't that exposed to Akebono and his work, he wasn't just a one-off sa WrestleMania. In fact, I think the WrestleMania gig started his professional career in Japan.
Yes.
Diba? Where he went on to compete in AJPW among many other companies in Japan.
Yeah. No, the reason why we're spending time on this is because the deal with WrestleMania, the deal with Big Show no WrestleMania 21, that was pretty interesting. It wasn't received well a lot because remember, it's weird. It's a sumo match in the middle of WrestleMania, but it did serve as the spectacle of that event, diba? It was strange, it was different, and I think for a lot of Ruthless Aggression era fans, tumatak si Akebono, even though we didn't quite know what to make of him. So, although he wasn't like a well-known entity among us WWE fans, he will be a part of our teenage years or childhood, however old you are. So, rest in peace, Akebono.
Yeah. One last fun fact before we get on to the next one. See, Akebono wasn't actually ethnically Japanese. He was Hawaiian. So he came from Hawaii.
God damn it. Not again.
Hindi mo alam?
No, I thought he was Japanese. Somebody said Doc
by
G said he was
citizenship, he's
Japanese.
Japanese. No, he's not. He's Hawaiian. He was
Doc G,
born
Ben.
at George Haheo Rowan.
You lied to me, Doc G.
It's the Yokozuna thing all over again.
Yeah, it is.
Another lesson to everyone. Please check your sources and double check and triple check. So there. All right. Rest in peace once again to the late, great Akebono. Let's go on to something happier, something that was largely overshadowed in the mainstream buhat ng WrestleMania week, and that was Mark Briscoe finally becoming a world champion. So he won the Ring of Honor World Championship 11 years after Jay Briscoe won his own Ring of Honor World Championship. This happened at Supercard of Honor, which is ROH's big event na, which also takes place pag WrestleMania week. This one, of course, happened in Philly. So that leaves Eddie Kingston with just the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. And now Mark Briscoe gets to walk around AEW with a shiny new world title.
Yeah, it's 11 years to the day is what they're saying sa lore niya. Tama, April 5 so tama, it's 11 years to the day. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how far ahead they planned that. I'm sure it was in the works for some time. But it was really awesome for Mark Briscoe to get his moment. And if you've seen the match, it was really, really fun. Talagang sadyang na-overshadow lang siya sa hype ni Cody, which is also deserved. But, these things are also happening away from the radar. And it kind of sucks then na ROH largely has to happen under the radar because it's ROH and it doesn't exist outside of Honor Club. And then they don't really talk about it. They didn't even hype it on AEW programming. So that's how swept under the rug it was. And it was such a great moment to watch, especially even if you know nothing about Jay Briscoe's original title win, if you know nothing about the Briscoe brothers, diba? The fact that, Mark was fighting for his fallen brother was enough of a story to take it through.
Yeah, sobrang wild watching Dynamite earlier, and then they cut to a vignette backstage.
Yeah.
Biglang, Mark Briscoe is hugging the ROH World Championship. I'm like, what the fuck? And I had to remember, right, naglaban pala sila ni Eddie Kingston, and he must have won. So that was how I found out that Mark Briscoe won the title.
Yep. Yeah.
Love this match. This is probably my third favorite match of the weekend, aside from Sami Gunther in the main event of WrestleMania. Pero usually naman Supercard of Honor really gets overshadowed because it's under the Mania weekend, it's not really their biggest show. Their biggest show is, of course, Final Battle, but still, this was a big moment. I mean, Mark Briscoe. This was, I think, they've been planning to give the ROH title to Briscoe. I think as early as last year, nagkataon lang na Briscoe got injured. That's why, yun lang nila ginawa to. The match was really fun. The match with Eddie Kingston, it was great. Nakita niyo naman yung mukha ni Mark Briscoe dugaan. So they had a war for the
Yeah.
ROH World Title, and again, that moment at the end where almost everyone on the ROH roster came out and celebrate with Mark. That was a feel good moment. And finally, after years and years, Mark Briscoe was finally a world champion, same as his brother Jay.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we will stick within the AEW universe and talk about that segment, which aired that video containing that CCTV footage. All of that coming up after this break. But first, let's hear from our other podcasts right here on the Pod Network. All right, let's talk about this. Let's put up the slide, babyface producer Jasper. Kanina nung AEW, they finally aired yung pinaplug nila for a few days na footage from All In. Of course, they were talking about that altercation between CM Punk and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And I don't know about you guys, but this was just a huge L on a lot of levels just because there was no way that anyone could win. Kasi diba, I'm gonna borrow from yung pinag-usapan ng Masked Man show about this particular topic na if they actually aired this, someone would look incredibly petty. But if they aired something else na parang nag-bait and switch sila, magagalit din naman yung mga tao na parang, oh, you promised us that you were gonna show the actual footage. So, I don't know about you, but it looked like a no-win situation here. And they aired the footage to advance yung story ng Young Bucks and FTR na parang yung punto ng Young Bucks dito is that they were trying to show na CM Punk was such a patalo and everything, then ina-associate nila with FTR, who are of course friends of CM Punk, naka-feud ngayon ng Young Bucks over the AEW World Tag Team Championships. So I guess to start things off here...
No. You can't tell it like that. You can't tell it like... You have to explain yung sinabi nila sa promo. So, ang sinabi nila is that because it was a ano diba, yung finals of the tournament of that night, diba?
Yes.
So FTR lost that match, and then they blamed the Young Bucks blamed yung backstage incident to for their loss, and then the Young Bucks were somehow offended that FTR had the gall to offer their hands in respect. Tapos, yun yung issue nila, which is, I'll explain later. But Emil, go ahead, because I have a lot to say.
Honestly, there was no need for this segment. Like, I don't know why. And the footage itself changes nothing, at least on my end, because my feelings about it hasn't changed. I still think Punk was the asshole for starting the fight and was the asshole for attacking a coworker. And I think Punk pretty much already told everything in that interview a few days ago. So I think that's also why TK aired this, is to maybe combat what Punk said, but in the contrary, he pretty much proved Punk right. Nah, this is what happened, and ito yung nangyari. So I think both sides have moved on. Before all of this, I think both sides already moved on. AEW has done well post Punk. Punk is having the time of his life in WWE. So we already talked about this incident so many times, and I don't know why we're talking about it again. And for what? For ratings ploy? I know they were clever in tying it up in the current storyline, but at the end of the day, it for me it was a desperate ratings ploy. Yun yung lumabas sa akin eh. Yun yung pagkaka-interpret ko with the whole thing. So I don't know about you guys, but that's how I felt about it.
Yeah, interesting. I have 3 points to say about this, which if you were a patron, you would have already seen the Discord. But my conclusion first is that this segment had potential. It had actual potential to, generate a lot of heat. I saw a way for them to win. People say there was no win, but there was a way to win. So first point is that Punk is the asshole, diba? No question about it, no doubt about it. You saw from the footage that he started it. Nag-usap lang sila, then he started the physical aspect of it. So it's that thing that's never gonna go away. It's never gonna change. Good for AEW that they're never gonna change how Punk is the asshole. So it's extremely weird for fans defending Punk and respecting Punk for starting a fight. Kasi, macho, toxic masculinity. This guy started a fight. He does things. He handles things with his fists. And we like that about him. Same way y'all like that about Duterte, diba? Which, I'm not afraid to throw out there because it's true. So if you are cheering Punk because of this footage, then you're fucking weird. I will just say you're weird. You're weird, and that should not be the takeaway from this whole thing. And it's clear to me what kind of person you are if you cheer Punk because of what he did. Diba? They could have handled it like men. But they could have handled it maturely. Pero mainit ulo ng kuya mo eh. So he proved then that he was a liability. That part is true. Second part is it was such a dumb way to get to the footage. It was such a dumb way to talk about the footage. It was a dumb way to set up yung playing of the footage. Like, okay, so FTR lost because they were distracted. So we're showing this as the reason why they got distracted. Who's buying any of this? Who is believing this? How does it even make sense? Okay, Fabe, how does this make sense in the good story? Diba?
Why did it take this long for anyone to say
exactly.
that this is the reason why they lost last August?
Diba?
Yeah,
in Wembley.
I understand that they're probably are they I can't remember if they're the ones clashing for the vacant tag team championships. Are they? See, Bucks and FTR.
Yes, they are.
Oh yeah,
Yep,
so that's why. That's the pretext here. That's the pretext here. So the third point is, how do you win here? Easy, by making FTR the ultimate Punk allowance. Sabihin mo, okay, I'm the Young Bucks. I'm the Young Bucks. I'm calling FTR equally cancerous to my company because they are, Punk's number 2 and number 3 guys, diba? These were the guys who kept enabling Punk. Sila yung training partners, yung riding partners. So, the moment Punk left after got fired, FTR, the Young Bucks should have said that FTR should have been gone right out with him, because who else was going to defend Punk after that? Danhausen. It's going to be FTR. So they should have made the point that FTR did not deserve to be in AEW kasi, diba, it was their enabling and empowering of CM Punk that almost destroyed the thing that they were building, the biggest show in the UK and wherever. So they were just as much as liabilities because they were part of Punk's crew, his inner circle, if you will. So sayang, that was a missed opportunity. I felt like they didn't go there. If you were gonna go there, if you were gonna, talk about a legal matter, you should have just went for the jugular, diba? Sayang yun. Instead, you get this weird story thread that hardly makes sense to everyone. That's why it fell flat. So, ano paki ko, distracted sila kasi natalo sila. Tapos, anong paki ko sa handshake nila? So, what is that even? So, I felt like that was the biggest miss. And that's why now, because we are in the age of social media, at yung finocus ng mga tao is the discourse, and rightfully so, surrounding the feasibility, the viability of showing the Punk footage, the actual honest to goodness Punk footage. And now they fell flat. They look weird. They didn't do it right, so they look weird. So some people have asked, why did they do this in the first place? It's because they wanted to put FTR over. You take the segment that happened right after it, and you frame FTR as the guys who are saying, "What the fuck are we doing here? Ano tong ginagawa nyo? Why can't we just fight? Why can't we move on?" So they were the guys who were the voice of reason, and they were the ones designed to put designed for the segment to put over. So they did that part right. So I think Carlos said here in the chat na it was FTR's idea. I hope not, because that would be terrible at all. Pero yung follow through maayos naman. But because yun nga, the viral thing is the viral thing, a lot of people will overlook that because it's a lot easier to dunk on the propriety of showing the footage. So yun lang. It's a huge waste. I don't think it was a clear loss. I just thought it could have been handled a lot better.
No, let me ask you this, Ro, from the standpoint of a PR practitioner, diba? Because for those who don't know, Ro works in PR. I've also dabbled in PR myself.
Yeah.
So I was actually looking at this from the lens of PR na parang this was such a stain to AEW's PR nung nangyari to nung All In, diba? May nag-away na naman, CM Punk, one of your biggest names. So to put that on TV and to incorporate it in kayfabe when it should have been something na binauna sa limot, isn't that a misstep branding-wise?
Yeah, but they already committed to it. I mean, okay, sure. If you're talking about the decision before they announced the announcement, yes, definitely not. They should not have gone there. But you were committed to it, so ito na yung plan dapat. If you were so committed to firing back at CM Punk, which is tama naman. I think only one person deserved to fire back in today's episode, and we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, sige. Speaking of firing back, hindi mo na yun ang pag-usapan natin. Let's talk about someone else, that being Will Ospreay, who also fired back on Dynamite. So, pretext muna tayo rito. Triple H appeared on the Pat McAfee show nung WrestleMania weekend, and then Pat McAfee asked him about Will Ospreay. And then Triple H addressed the situation, saying something along the lines of, Will Ospreay's someone who's running from the grind. Someone who doesn't like yung parang ginagawa natin dito, the schedule. He took the easier load. I'm paraphrasing what Triple H said. And then Triple H ended yung response niya by saying na kung hindi niya pala trip yung ganun, edi maybe hindi talaga okay yung fit. I'd rather not have him here. Something along those lines. So Will Ospreay gets 5 minutes of TV time this week on Dynamite, goes out there, addresses directly yung sinabi na someone told me that I was running from the grind, and then he defended himself, and then he alluded to Triple H and Stephanie McMahon's relationship by saying na someone was grinding the boss's daughter. So, what do you think, Emil, about first those comments from Triple H? Since Will Ospreay was someone who WWE reportedly also tried to go after in free agency, and then those plans fell through, and then the subsequent response from Will Ospreay on live TV.
I think the Triple H comments were a little bit unwarranted, in my opinion, kasi it's an excuse eh. The things that he said were an excuse of why they didn't get these guys. Now, they didn't want this, they didn't want this schedule, so that's the reason why we didn't get them. Hindi lang naman yun yung for sure yung reason as to why WWE didn't get those guys. Like, I'm sure there's also another reason or so many reasons to for us to count as to why people like Ospreay, Okada, and Mercedes went to AEW. So, medyo ano yun eh, may tira din si Triple H dun sa sinabi niya eh. That's why I think Ospreay had the right to fight, to answer back, had the right to fire his own shots, but like Glendale said, was it necessary to say those words? No, but I do think he had the right to defend himself. Now, because Triple H just basically called them lazy. Now, they don't want, they don't want to go, they don't want the schedule, so they're calling them the run in their words, like running away from the grind. So it's kind of like parang hindi man say insulting, but it's like you're saying
it is insulting.
Like
no, it is. Say it. Say it with your chest. It is insulting.
So it is insulting. So he had the right to answer back. But I think that should be the end of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Both guys have fired their own shots. That's it. There's no more shots from this point on.
Yep, I agree. nananahimik si Will Ospreay. He was out there doing his thing, and then Triple H suddenly takes shots. I'm a Paul Levesque guy, but this was pretty boomer energy from him. Now, okay, you didn't sign him, so now you take aim at his work ethic, and that guy busts his ass every time he's in the ring. He's done New Japan tours in the last days on end, and you have the gall to tell him that he doesn't want to, put his nose on the grind, diba? So that's so unfair. Like after everything he did, the fact that he chose an easier life to preserve himself for himself and his family and his loved ones, parang, come on, man. It lines up with previous comments that the Triple H character has made like years ago, a decade ago. But one would think for being such a progressive leader in the locker room, he would know better than to say these things. I don't know if he was saying that in character. But no, may point si Will Ospreay, and I felt that he deserved to say talk his shit. Diba? I don't care. He got 5 minutes. It was a lot more. It was a lot less than than what the Bucks and FTR did together. 5 minutes is 5 minutes, and he got straight to the point. He was salty, and I thought he deserved to be salty because yun nga, nanahimik siya eh. So many people talking shit about people they can't have, diba? So alam mo yun. This was the one person who deserved to fire back. I mean, you got disrespected, diba? So why would you not fire back? Especially when you weren't doing anything to that guy other than not signing with his company and giving him his money.
Eto, should he have done it on live television on
that.
Dynamite?
Yeah. Talk his shit. Draw the ratings. Talk his shit.
Because Triple H also did it on a live platform. So
sa McAfee show, diba?
Yeah, it was on the Pat McAfee show. It wasn't on a WWE episode of like Raw or SmackDown.
Still, he was on a public platform. He was on a broadcast. So yun pa.
All right, so let's talk about Tony Khan and his role in all of this. Kasi, people are talking about AEW this week, and maybe for not the best reasons, but because of all of the buzz created by these segments, these things happening on TV. You can call it the pettiness, the drama, and all of that stuff. But at this point, is the juice still worth the squeeze?
Yeah, Carlo, he asked, was this the week to do it? What was he gonna do? Wait 8 months to fire back at Triple H? This was the week to do it. Or else people will call him things. Anyway, sorry. To get to the question, Tony Khan. He needs a filter. He needs counsel. He needs counsel that he will actually listen to, and he needs to listen to counsel. Because yes, it's okay to fire back when you're being disrespected, but one, you gotta do it properly, and make it make sense. And two, you can't respond to everything, lest you look like an idiot who fires back at everything. And I'm jeopardizing a whole bunch of employment opportunities that may or may not be real here. But with a boss like this, I'm not quite sure. It's something worth looking forward to. But it's not a good look. Syempre, when you're justified, do it. But when not all bad publicity is good publicity, pa rin. It still has to be a pick and choose system. He does have balls. He has too much balls. That's why all of this is happening. Diba?
Yeah, tas may magsasabi na naman, you guys wouldn't survive the Attitude Era. WCW, WWE were doing this week by week. First of all, like it's a different time, and not every shot is worth taking for. So TK needs to slow down, I guess. Like he can still fire shots from time to time. Like I will give him that, especially when WWE also does the same. Pero
they did. They were the ones who started. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Like not everything is worth worth your time to answer for. So yun naman. I think TK will also benefit from having a PR team in there. I'm sure he does.
No, he does have a PR team. Listen
they
to
hired
them.
someone from WWE.
Yeah, they hired someone from WWE. He doesn't listen.
So
he needs to listen.
He needs to listen to his PR guys.
Yeah.
Really, kasi it will benefit the company in the long term if they avoid PR issues such as this.
Yeah, sayang lang because we're coming off of that Adam Copeland promo from a couple of weeks ago where he talks about his love for professional wrestling, how AEW is good for wrestling, how its existence is good for the industry, 'di ba? And it's unfortunate na magkaka-black eye na naman yung brand ng AEW because of the petty shots, being fired back and forth. Na, it's easier said than done. Na parang, why can't you just do your work, do your thing, diba? And then be good. Like, if you can't be number one, be the solid number two or the alternative. But, syempre, tao pa rin naman yung mga pinag-uusapan natin, diba? They have their own agency. They will do what they do, whether we like it or not, whether they listen to their PR teams or not. So, it's just really unfortunate na for everyone else who's associated with AEW, they have to also take the hit, in terms of branding because of the stink that comes with the pettiness.
The frustrating part was that today's episode of Dynamite was really good. Like, it was so good. I got Adam Copeland doing Lucha Libre here, so it was that good. Sayang lang
Here we are.
yung controversy.
Yeah, we're talking about something else. It's such a shame.
Yeah. When we could have been talking about Adam Copeland doing good lucha things. Any other thoughts on Tony Khan and all of this brouhaha from AEW side of things?
For sure,
I
we're
will
going to
say
talk about.
Sorry, go ahead. Go talk, Camille.
For sure, we're going to talk about this in another time.
Oh yeah,
a couple of months, in a year. This thing will never end.
I just want to know when the elders are gonna step in and do something. Kasi how many elders are there at this point? And wala pa rin silang ginagawa. So, what's happening, y'all? What's happening backstage?
I mean, it's kind of hard when the person leading the charge is the person signing your paychecks.
Yeah, but they are still the wise men, the experienced wise men of the elder statesmen, if you will, of the industry, not just the company. So, kailan sila mag-intervene? Surely after today's episode, they probably will have them do a come to Jesus meeting.
Mm-hmm. We'll see kung may mangyayaring ganun. In the meantime, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the fallout from WrestleMania 40. But first, let's hear from our other podcasts right here on the Pod Network. All right, let's discuss yung WrestleMania 40 fallout. We're going to start with Cody Rhodes. Syempre, we have to talk about the new WWE champion and what his story is going to be as it continues. So, who do you guys think should be the next challenger for Cody Rhodes? Because now we're in this weird limbo period where we're just celebrating pa rin, diba? In the afterglow of the Cody win. But of course, he's going to have to start defending that championship. So, where do you think this should go from here?
Medyo mahirap to. Kasi usually the first challenger always loses, diba? In the history of title reigns, I don't want to say Gunther because I want Gunther and Cody to have a really good rivalry. That's going to be, I think, the rivalry of the summer. So first challenger, maybe someone who could take an L, probably a Finn Balor, probably sino pa ba yung heels sa SmackDown? Finn Balor. That's the name that's the first name that popped up in my head. So probably him. Basta someone who could take a loss and still be credible. Because he's not gonna win against Cody anytime soon.
Kang, kasi nasa quantum realm na silang lahat after the new intro. But serious answers, I got either Logan Paul or AJ Styles. So AJ Styles has a
Oh.
unclaimed shot, and Logan Paul is Logan Paul. Diba? So he won. So we'd love to see him lose. Although I'm sure you'd save that for a bigger event, but it is what it is. Maybe AJ Styles.
Hmm. Yeah, we're bound to find out soon enough. We also have to mention that WWE announced the return of the WWE draft. So it's happening at the end of the month. Magsisimula siya on SmackDown, and then it will continue until Monday Night Raw on, I believe, April 29 or something like that. So it's a 2-night event again, as usual. And when the rosters shake out, maybe that's when we'll find out what the top of the card for both Raw and SmackDown will be. It's gonna be weird rin kasi right now, both world champions are on Monday Night Raw, them being Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest, diba?
Yep. I think they're just waiting for they're just waiting for tawag doon, just waiting for the draft. Kasi we're all in limbo. Ano ba? We're only 2 weeks from the draft, right? So still 2 weeks to fuck around and bask in the afterglow of the story being finished, diba? So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait for the draft. Ano ba ano? Backlash. May 4. That's pretty close.
Backlash is May 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, sure. Finn Balor. Since we're not technically bringing Cody to SmackDown just yet.
All right. Now, let's talk about Roman Reigns. And people have been wondering about what does Roman do after losing the Universal Championship? Does he become a babyface after he's gone for quite a while? Ano yung kalalabasan nitong tribal chief character after he's had such a dominant record-breaking run?
I think this is now we're now to the sa point na the disintegration of the bloodline begins. What I mean by that is magsisimula na, paisa-isa na. Like it's gonna be Jimmy, and Solo's gonna break away, and then will eventually lead to that Rock versus Roman match na we're penciling in for maybe next year's WrestleMania. So I think meron pa rin siyang a year's worth of storyline arc that he still needs to finish before maybe retiring or going on that part-time schedule like those of Brock or The Undertaker had late in their careers. So I think doon na papunta yun.
I know what I want to see. I want to see them finally do the thing with Jimmy. Because Jimmy went back. We still don't know why he went back. They teased yung tension between Roman and Jimmy, the whole time we were trying to get to WrestleMania. Then they set it aside for the WrestleMania season. So now you have no championship. Jimmy failed. Solo failed. So Jimmy has been the weak link for a long time now. So I want to see them salvage Jimmy's character and finally have them do the reckoning that I felt was supposed to happen talaga. Pero di lang nila na-handle ng ayos. So that's my pick, and I hope that they haven't forgotten about that. And, going by the way they've booked a lot of things, feeling ko hindi nila nakalimutan eh. Di lang nila nahanapan ng oras, ng panahon para ituloy yan.
Mm-hmm. While we're talking about Roman, we've had a few days to think about this since WrestleMania 40 ended. When we look back dito sa run ni Roman Reigns, where would you rank him in terms of importance to WWE?
Among who? Among who?
Yung mga pinakamalaking names in the company's history, diba? The Hogans and the Rocks and Austins. And all that.
That's interesting. That's tough to answer because every era has its big name. I mean, you can't discount Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan, despite being a racist, he was the reason why wrestling is popular today. Diba? John Cena also buoyed the entire PG era and part of the Ruthless Aggression era. So it's tough to rank Roman historically across all the other big names. Kasi I think his only claim to fame was that he had a lot of good story behind him. And he was an elite performer then, an elite wrestler. So I don't know if that is enough of a needle mover especially considering the context of everyone who's come before. Like, I can't tell if he was good for business. He was good for business at WrestleMania kasi people finally, were paying to finally see him lose. But everywhere else, I'm not quite sure. So it's tough to say, but I'm not ranking him ahead of the bigger names from history.
This is like the LeBron versus Jordan debate. Now, there's no right or wrong answer. But the thing is, most of the all time guys, their runs were as baby faces, like Hogan, Austin, Cena, probably even Taker. But the difference is with here, Roman's best run is probably as a heel. So that's where I think the conversation kind of gets interesting because yes, he may not. I'm not gonna put him above Hogan, Cena, and Austin. So he's competing there against the likes of Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Triple H, and he is in the conversation. I'm not gonna just put him yet in the Mount Rushmore, but
Conversation ng ano,
he's
Emil?
in of the Mount Rushmore wrestling of WWE.
I hate Mount
He's in the
Rushmore.
conversation for he's in the conversation for the fourth guy on that Mount Rushmore. Kasi
Okay.
that yung three solid na yun. Hogan, Cena, Austin. The fourth one is in question, and he's in there. He's in the conversation.
I don't know. Not over his cousin, for sure. I
I
wouldn't
think I
say
put
that.
him over
medyo mas
Rock.
malaki yung contribution pa rin ni Rock eh.
Oh. I don't
No,
know,
I
man.
put Roman. I put Reigns over Rock at this point.
I mean, I would love to as well, but business-wise, I don't think I can do that.
Kind of hard to deny everything The Rock has done in and out of WWE and how that always comes back to wrestling.
Mahirap siya. It's yeah. I don't like The
Actually,
Rock, but I can't not put him, diba?
All right.
Hindi,
that's
natanong ko
fair.
lang because natanong ko lang because this is an entire era that Roman Reigns has been the face of, 'di ba? So parang sinasabi rin ng mga tao na ang ganda nitong era na to, gusto ko nang bumalik to watching wrestling regularly or whatever. So, do you credit someone like Roman Reigns for that because he was the centerpiece of these stories?
Oh, Emil, you gonna answer that? Or is that a rhetorical question for you?
No, you could argue most people came back in the last 2 months because of The Rock, not necessarily
Okay.
Roman.
Really?
So,
Okay.
but there's also some validity to sinabi.
But who were people cheering for when The Rock was around? Who were they cheering for? Was it not one Cody Garrett Runnels?
Cody? Yeah, Cody.
Diba?
Yeah.
So I would argue that he's more responsible for this renaissance than Roman, and I'm a Roman fan.
Yeah.
And I know too many people who have been disillusioned by Roman's, not him, his booking, and a part of that was also perpetuated by Triple H because he knew he had to get to this critical mass for the Cody win to be maximized, diba? So I can't even argue Roman as being the most important in his era right now.
Kasi he's a heel. That's why. He's a heel. All of these guys that we're talking about are baby faces. They're the ones leading the era, the generation.
Oh.
Like when we talk about generations, we always attribute it to the main babyface during that generation. From Golden, it's Hogan. New generation, it's Bret. It's Attitude Era, it's Austin. The afterwards, it was either Rock and Cena. So it's always the baby.
Teka lang, nagkakamali ka na dyan. Nagkakamali ka na dyan, Emil. Attitude's not just Austin. It's got to be Rock and Austin, and you don't put Rock and Cena in the same era. That's just not how it was.
Okay, sorry. Nalito lang ako doon. Austin and Rock, diba? So you don't say, Attitude Era, the first name you would remember is Triple H, or you don't go into this era, to the PG era, the first name that you would think is CM Punk. So it's always the babyface. That's why it's kind of hard to. I can see Rose argument of it's Cody rather than Roman.
Yeah, I mean, Carlo Austin was a huge cultural force. I'm sure you would know as well. So, I think co-equal naman sila ni Rock in that era. Brock did not move numbers in the
No,
business.
no, he's not.
Not in his
Yeah.
first run. Definitely not in his first run.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll talk about The Rock's cousin and Roman's cousin in a bit. But first, we'll take one last break and then we'll hear from our other podcasts right here on the Pod Network. All right, before we get to Jey Uso, sagutin natin si Paul. Meron siyang question in the comments. Sinatanong niya kung malayong pinsan ba ni Rock si Roman Reigns.
Wala si Rowan dito to answer our family relationship questions. He is the wrestling family expert of the podcast. But as Derb said in the chat, hindi sila blood cousins, di sila magpinsan by blood pero by oath kasi their grandfathers swore a blood oath to each other. They swore an oath. That's not mentioned blood. That's confusing. They swore an oath to each other. So, ang turing sa kanila is magpinsan kahit hindi sila related by blood talaga. So, yun. That's the answer to your question. And hindi siya sobrang malayo, hindi talaga sila nakikita. It's just that it's one of those things that you forge by culture.
It's basically acknowledged dun sa Anoa'i family tree, di ba? Yung nasa Wikipedia, basically yun yung ginamit nila dun sa kickoff event sa Las Vegas noong February. It's the exact same family tree. Nilagyan lang nila ng graphics. So if you want to see how exactly they're related, sino yung mga magkaka-generation, yan, tingnan sa Wikipedia nung Anoa'i family. Okay.
Let's not even add the Tongas because they're not Samoan. So that's even more confusing. Sina Haku, tsaka sina Tama Tonga.
Iba pa yun. Okay, let's stick with the Anoa'i family and talk about Jey Uso, who's now the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship because of an assist from CM Punk. So connected to the Drew McIntyre feud. And apparently, Punk's tricep is way better now. He doesn't need the brace anymore. See, Punk is getting physical now. Granted, he's not taking any offense, but he's the one dishing out yung mga attacks kay Drew McIntyre, or at least getting involved physically sa mga matches ni Drew McIntyre. So, what do you think about how this all went down?
Sorry, Emil, go ahead.
No, I like the Jey Uso win because first of all, like I said earlier, after a new champ is crowned, the first challenger usually loses, and Jey is at the position high enough in the card that he can be featured in main event title matches and still be credible while losing. So he's in that sweet spot na tama lang na siya yung nanalo. Also, like the CM Punk involvement in this, probably, so it probably means that he's closer to returning than we actually thought, and that the Punk McIntyre program is gonna be one of the main rivalries heading into SummerSlam, maybe, or probably Survivor Series.
I want to give props to Drew for making CM Punk highly watchable. Kasi sa tuloy-tuloy na pagkukupal niya kay CM Punk, you do actually get a sense of belief na everything that Drew is happening is also warranted. That's happening to Drew is also warranted. So a lot of people have prayed for this and it's also happened. So at first it was also karma to Punk, but now it's also karma to Drew because he won't stop being a hater. And then he made that work for him. He made that work for Punk as well, diba? Now Punk is largely okay, medyo palatable na siya, barring the occasional shoot interview like what happened last week. But now he's entertaining again because now he's just functioning well in this story that has a touch of yung reality na the backstage drama, but they all made it work because Drew is clearly very committed to making it entertaining as a hater. So kudos to him, kudos to them, and I'm genuinely entertained by Punk playing spoiler to Drew.
Mhm. Speaking of Drew McIntyre, may report na lumabas from Fightful Select this past week na hindi pa siya nag-resign apparently with the WWE. So hindi natin alam kung kailan yung specific expiration date ng current contract ni Drew McIntyre. But you have to wonder na, Drew McIntyre has really increased yung kanyang value to the WWE because of this character that he's got right now. But the hater character, the one who's supposedly telling it like it is, getting in the face of CM Punk. Some would argue siguro na this is probably the most interesting Drew McIntyre has been since he won the Royal Rumble in 2020.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I know. I think he's gonna WWE is gonna resign him. It would be incredibly.
No, they want to
dumb.
re-sign him. He's the one who hasn't signed yet.
Really? Okay.
Yes, that's why they've been. That's why he's been holding out this whole time.
He's betting on himself, and probably
Oh.
he should get a higher offer now that he's probably
We don't even
one
know
of
what
the
that
most
offer is.
important one of the most important people on the roster, and they have this program awaiting that's probably gonna make them so much money over the summer. So para sa akin si Drew yung may leverage dito eh. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think he's not gonna leave. I think WWE is gonna give him what he's worth. I wish. Kasi sobrang sayang if he's gonna leave and they have this program left on the table with him and Punk.
I am not quite sure what to make of this kasi ang dami ng magandang nangyari for Drew, 'di ba? He got over like really like the most over that he's gotten ever like since his comeback nung 2017 or 2018. He got the championship. He got the big story with Punk. He got a nice Mania win. So I don't know. I don't think it's an issue of money. Kasi the material benefits or the non-material benefits rather should be enough for him to put pen to paper and finally sign. So I think there's something here na if this is true, di pa natin nakikita or di natin alam talaga. I don't think it's an issue of money. I don't even think it's an issue of booking now. So I don't know why he hasn't signed if he hasn't signed. So I hope that it's easy to say na sana wag niya sayangin tong biggest push, biggest run of his career. But if there are other things at play, then you gotta respect the man. So I hope that he's okay. I hope that he's doing just fine in his life.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the other things going well right now in WWE, you've got the Women's Championship storyline on Monday Night Raw. So Rhea Ripley, tuloy-tuloy yung celebration niya alongside the Judgment Day, and then she got blindsided by this attack from Liv Morgan. So the Liv for Brutality feud has finally begun. We actually didn't see Liv Morgan at all in WrestleMania, which was very weird. The guys from the Masked Man show, they brought it up na Liv Morgan was the last person eliminated in the Women's Royal Rumble, and yet she was nowhere near the road to WrestleMania, much less WrestleMania itself. Kind of like CM Punk, who was also the last person Cody Rhodes eliminated, and then wala rin siyang match sa WrestleMania. But then again, that's because Punk got injured. So with Liv Morgan coming in here to attack Rhea Ripley and kick off this feud, what do you think the prospects are of Liv being the one to dethrone Rhea?
I think it's nice. It's a nice full circle moment kasi 'di ba sila yung mag-tag team dati. Tapos ngayon I don't think she's gonna win because Rhea is way too popular. Diba? If Rhea could beat Becky Lynch in terms of popularity, why is it gonna be Liv? I don't think we've built up a case the way Cody had built up a case, and Sammy had built up a case, diba? And Bailey, diba? So I think we're gonna be looking for that that top contender, that real replacement for a long time here.
I don't think Liv is gonna be the one to dethrone Rhea. Say like Rose said, she is like so popular right now that you have to capitalize on it and continue her reign as champion. And again, like I said, that first feud after Mania, the challenger always loses. So Liv is gonna be a nice challenger here. Probably they're gonna have 2 to 3 worth of programs to go over. So this is gonna be a nice feud. But I don't think Liv is the contrapelo na I want for Rhea. Hindi pa rin siya yun eh. So Rhea's still gonna retain after this.
See, Eunice, one of our friends in the comment section says she'd love to
Hey.
see a mid-card title for the women. Actually, nagulat nga ako na mas nauna pang nagka-mid-card
NXT.
title yung NXT with the Women's North American Championship rather than the main roster. What do you think about that really quick?
You are in luck because I've heard some rumblings. I don't know kung substantiated na, but I think they are in the process of making one. I think the NXT North American Women's Championship is like the litmus test for it. But because Jade is here and then Jade can't always be the top champ, I think they are in the process of making that the same way TK made the TBS Championship.
For her, diba?
Yeah, for her.
Diba? Yeah.
Imagine
That's
Jade
trendy.
being the reason why 2 mid-card women's championships in the 2 biggest promotions in the world existed. That would be nuts kung yung nga talaga yung dahilan, no? Jade
It's
Cargill,
already
game changer.
it's already surefire Hall of Fame, surefire Hall of Fame credential.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah. Ager, okay lang na late ka. You can just watch it back or check us out on Spotify because we are about to wind down here. Marami pa tayong pag-uusapan.
Sorry,
you can
Ager.
catch on the audio-only version, which will drop on your feeds over the weekend. We'll talk about Ilya Dragunov and Roxanne Perez showing up on Monday Night Raw, as well as Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker losing their NXT Tag Team Championships to Axiom and Nathan Fraser. We'll also talk about Andre Chase and his Michael Jordan-like gambling problem. All of that hitting your feeds over the weekend. But as we wind down here, let's get some plugs. Emil, may ganap ka ba?
Wala naman, just follow us on all our social media accounts, and I write reviews for the weekend AEW shows, Rampage and Collision, so make sure to check those out.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Ro?
Yeah, well, we have MWF happening this Sunday, which is kasaysayan. Well, tickets are already sold out, so there's no point in there's not much point in plugging this. But syempre, you know what to do. Soon enough, it will be on RJ Rock of Manila TV. So when that happens, please do tune in. The shows are live streamed on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, we're doing replays. So abang-abang lang. It's free Filipino wrestling, and it's not hard to support. Check that out.
Yeah, Tajiri will be main eventing MWF Kasaysayan, so it'll be great to see Tajiri back on our shores for the second straight year. As for me, if you guys watch the PBA, I will be calling the game between Rain or Shine and Terra Firma. That's happening on Saturday on the Smart Sports live stream. So go catch that. Really enjoying getting to double dip between basketball and wrestling. And for all of us, make sure to follow us on social media individually. It is at EML_Meister, at Ro is War for our absent co-hosts, Sina Chino and Rowan. It is at Chino Supersized and at Monday Night Rowan. And for me, it is at _Stan C. Thank you very much to everybody for joining us for another episode of the Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next week for another set of episodes, another live stream. Then syempre yung ating 10th anniversary event. It is quiz night at Hobby Stadium. Tanong ni France, pwede ba belts?
Yeah,
well,
sure.
kay Hobby Stadium, pwede naman. Oh.
No. So I think he's talking about MWF. Yeah, sure,
MWF.
pwede. Yeah,
He's like,
go
"Oh,
for it.
okay."
Oh, pwede naman. Sa huwag ka namang gugulo, di ba? Kasi kung nanggulo ka, ayan, yari ka. Yun lang. Right? We'll see you there. Dami natin ganap for April. MWF Kasaysayan. We've got Wrestling Podcast Quiz Night. And we've got the Pasabay also happening next week. So do catch us and join us for all of those. Thank you to Babyface producer Jasper and the Pod Network. We will see you next week on behalf of Romaran and Emil Nate. My name is Stan C saying stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast. Out. Later,
Stay
Outcasts.
hydrated. Peace.